Greetings, loved ones. While no one wants to think about the sexual abuse of a child, particularly for victims, it is common to ask, why are children sexually abused? Unfortunately, there is no clear answer to this question. But today we're going to discuss this question. Help us get these messages out. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button, notification bell. Share these messages with others. So why are children sexually abused? I'm going to say it again. Well, no one wants to think about the sexual abuse of a child, particularly for victims. It is common to ask this, and there is no clear answer to this question. What we do know is that it is not the fault of those who have been sexually abused. While those who have been abused as a child may feel shame and guilt over what happened, the only person who should take responsibility for the abuse is the offender. We have three models that try to explain why children are sexually abused, and these three models have emerged to give us a little bit more of information. These models have focused exclusively on the family or exclusively on the abuser, have been mostly replaced by a more integrated approach. The first is abused as a child. Why? A family-centered approach. This older approach suggests that children are abused due to family dynamics. According to the Child Welfare Gateway by the Administration for Children and Families, specifically clinicians taking this perspective describe the collusive mother who has estranged herself from the father as the cornerstone of the incestuous triad, and the victim as a parental child who has replaced her mother as a sexual partner to the father. This theory has been recognized to have been too many limitations to explain sexually abused children in general, and is not commonly in use today. The second approach is the offender-centered approach. This approach seeks to explain why children are sexually abused from the perspective of the commonalities shared by the offenders. Unfortunately, this approach too has many limitations, as the information is typically gathered from offenders in jail, and thus it is not representative of offenders as a whole and does not represent the role that outside dynamics may place on the abuse. The third one is an integrated approach to why children are sexually abused. And more recently, this integrated model has been developed to explain why children are sexually abused. This model combines both family and offender factors. In a practice model of this approach, there are said to be prerequisite conditions for child sexual abuse as well as contributing factors. The prerequisites of child sexual abuse are found in the offender, and they are sexual arousal to children, propensity to act on sexual arousal. These two conditions, found in the abuser, are enough to explain why some are abused as a child, but other contributing factors can also play a role, such as cultural issues, family, including marital issues such as an unhappy marriage, current life situations such as abusing alcohol, personality, past life events such as being a previous victim of sexual abuse, and situations such as access to unsupervised children. Contributing factors should not be confused with blaming the victim, however. None of these contributing factors cause sexual abuse of children, but they can increase the likelihood only if the prerequisite factors also exist. Remember, it's about power, control, and access. According to the CDC, over half of all children in the world experience violence every year. The question is not if you'll encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. Micah 6:8 says, He has showed you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. And if you're a victim of violence, I want you to know that there is a way out. It is not your fault. Abuse is not love. And most of all, you are not alone. If you are suffering violence, reach out to someone today. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. If you know of a child or other person suffering violence, tell the authorities. In our next episode, we're going to talk more about predators. Until then, God bless you.